Shabbat Shalom. We are the confirmation class of 2023. We are so excited to be here this morning, leading the congregation. We have all been part of the temple for so many years, and we can't believe we've made it to this day. This is what we have been working toward throughout all the years, some of us starting as early as first grade. We have all been through our bar and bat mitzvahs, but this means so much more as we are confirming our Jewish identity as we move into adulthood.
We are on page 414.
Please turn to page 420. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofei kol basar umafil la'asot. I had no idea what this prayer meant at first. When I initially interpreted it, I thought it meant that we were diverse and we took many pathways to be who we are today. However, upon further analysis and research, I discovered this prayer is called the Asher Yatzar and is traditionally recited after going to the bathroom. With this in mind, it is meant to praise God for creating the human body and is meant to be recited daily to thank God for good health. The prayer also recognizes God as the ultimate healer of all flesh and that his works are wondrous, creating us completely with all parts in working order. If any part was to work in the wrong way, life would be a lot harder. One of the main ideas behind reciting this blessing is that we shouldn't wait until we are ill to appreciate our health, but rather we ought to thank God for our well-being every day. Thank you. Please turn to page 422.
My God, the soul you have given me is pure. You created it, you shaped it, you breathed it into me, and you protect it within me. For as long as my soul is within me, I offer thanks before you, Adonai, my God, and the God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. Praise are you, Adonai, in whose hand is every living soul and the breath of humankind. Baruch atah Adonai, asher b'yado nefesh kol, v'ruach kol b'sarish. Upon creation, we are blessed with a pure soul molded and created by God. God gave it to us, and it is our duty to protect its purity for as long as we can. Thank you, God, for breathing into us what makes us holy. And please turn to page 424.
ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan masech vivina lechavkim ben yomim ben laila. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokei achivrim. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokeh kefufim. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam roka haaretz al hamayim. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamachin metzadei gaver. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten la'ayet koach. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'emir she'ener me'enai utnumai me'at v'pai. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tselem Elohim. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat horin. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asot b'divrei Torah. O Adonai our God, let the words of Torah be sweet in our mouths, and the mouths of your people Israel, so that we, our descendants, and the descendants of all your people Israel, may know you by studying your Torah for its own sake. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to our people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, hamla'amed Torah le'amo Yisrael.
These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world. While the principle remains in the world to come, they are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. Please turn to page 438.
Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam. Baruch Hu. Baruch Oseh v'Reishit. Baruch Omer v'Oseh. Baruch Gozer u'Mekayim. Baruch Merahim al haaretz. Baruch Merahim al habriot. Baruch Mishalem sahar tov lireyav. Baruch Chai v'chayam lanetzach. Baruch Hodeh u'matzil Baruch Shemo.
Please turn to page 452.
Please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamivorach. Baruch Adonai Hamivorach le'olam va'ed.
.454.
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzer or uvarei kosheh Osei shalom uvarei et hakol Hama'ir la'aretz v'ladarim elah barachamim Uvtuvo mekadesh b'chol yom tamid Ma'aseh v'reishit Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam asita, ma'aharetz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, va'al marei or sha'asita, yefarach selach, or hadash al Sion ta'ir, v'nizket kulanu mehera le'oro, Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hamarot.
The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes, more welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hamarot. The Yotzer prayer is about how God first created light and darkness. Because it was the first thing that was created, light gives us life. Light is very important to our daily lives, and it's very significant.
Page 458.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. Ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meyodecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uv'tatam al mezuzot beitecha uv'yisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yetem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeitem me'eretz Mitzrayim, le'ot lachem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem.
Please turn to page 462. When justice burns, When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when to the last full measure of self-devotion we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, when goodness enters our life, we can begin to change the world. Hi, my name is Silver Fox. I'm proud to be a confirmation student today, and I'm so happy to be here. I was asked to talk about connecting my Jewish values to a passion I have. I chose to connect my Jewish values to caring for the environment. Jewish values teaches us to care for our planet and to preserve what God has created for us. It is very important to value this because we are God's creation and so is the land. We have a responsibility to take care of the earth and protect all of its inhabitants and to use its resources wisely. By preserving the environment, we are also protecting the health and well-being of future generations. By doing this, it emphasizes a Jewish value of needing to preserve the resources and letting the land rest for the future. Making the world a better place is important to me. One way we can make it better is to take care of our world and allow it to recover from the damages people have already made to it. A Jewish phrase known as tikkun olam, tikkun meaning taken care of, and olam meaning world, is directly related to my Torah portion, Bahar, from my bat mitzvah in May 2020. It was about letting the land rest 6 years after allowing it to reset and be used again later. At the time of my bat mitzvah, we were in full lockdown mode. Due to this, I wrote about all the benefits the world's environment saw. Even though COVID-19 had a lot of catastrophic effects on businesses and people, from an environmental perspective, it gave the land a chance to renew and reset because people were working from home instead. An example of this was in the Venice canals. They were clearer than they had been in decades. Dolphins were spotted swimming from them in the first time in many years. To better take care of our world, we need to start actually caring for the land. We can start by reducing our carbon footprint and conserving the natural resources and protecting animals and habitats. This can be done by using public transportation, recycling, and switching to a more eco-friendly and sustainable product. In the book of Leviticus and the Ten Commandments, my objective was to determine how they were related to caring for the land. The book of Leviticus contains several laws and regulations of the land of Israel. It emphasizes an importance of using the land properly, including the sabbatical year and jubilee year, which require all Israelites to give the land and allow it to rest and rejuvenate. The book also contains a law that prohibits Israelites from exploiting the land for their own gain. Additionally, the Ten Commandments do not specifically address caring for the land, but the commandment, "Thou shalt not steal," can be interpreted to include the idea of taking from the land more than what is needed and not exploiting it for personal gain. Additionally, the commandment, "Remember the sabbatical day to keep it holy," can be interpreted to include the idea of allowing the land to rest and rejuvenate, which relates back to the main idea. In order to help the world, we need to support each other and work in unison to protect the environment and care for it by allowing it to rest and recover. It's up to us. Thank you.
We continue on page 466.
Hamacha ba'elim Adonai mi hamacha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot o sefer shira chadasha shibehu geulim leshimcha asefat hayam Yahad kulam hodu vehimlichu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
Carly. Sorry, Kayla.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai, that wherever we are, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Hi, my name is Carly. We decide whether to make ourselves learned or ignorant, compassionate or cruel, generous or miserly. No one forces us. No one decides for us. No one drags us along one path or the other. We are responsible for what we are. This is what Maimonides said. Today, as I complete another Jewish milestone in my life, I reflect on the most important Jewish value of Tikkun Olam, and I think about my future. I think about all the Jewish values that have helped me with these accomplishments. I think about being a part of a community here at Monmouth Reform and the community of Camp Harlem, and all the adults, including clergy, friends, and family that have helped me on this journey. I've learned a lot about what this means through these various avenues. Most basically to me, Tikkun Olam means helping to repair the world. I've also learned that more biblically it comes from the Talmud, when rabbis encouraged all the people, no matter how spiritually or intellectually inclined, to contribute to the common good and improve upon helping society. I have done my best to help others and be kind and caring when possible. I've decided to pursue a career in nursing or a healthcare profession so that I can be there for others and make a difference. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2018, and I think about all the amazing doctors and nurses that have helped me along the way. I feel that I can connect to some of these patients and sympathize with their situation. It is also not too bad that I'm not afraid of blood. I also am very good at art, and my mom says that I should be a surgeon because I have good hands, but I like to be more behind the scenes and connect with patients. I hope that I will be able to contribute to helping the world, and I try every day to make a difference. Thank you to all of you that have helped me get where I am today.
The tefillah, the central prayer of the Shabbat morning service, begins on page 468. During this prayer, we have a chance to pray together, but we also take the opportunity at the end to communicate with God in our own words, in our own thoughts, in our own images. Tefillah begins on page 468. Please rise.
Adonai sefatitach ufi hagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zoher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Mevi Gula Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham B'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Michai Kol Atah, Rav LeHoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim Dechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Oholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato, Lishenei Hafar, Michamo Chabal Givurot, Umidom Melech, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Meneman Atah L'Hachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. And because it's Shavuot, we insert the top of page 473.
Your might, O God, renews the earth. With dewdrops of life and blessing, let the earth be illumined and blessed.
Together, with dewdrops, joy and delight, let
Earth rejoice and sing out. With dewdrops of life and well-being, let the earth be revived and improved. With dewdrops of redemption, let the earth be redeemed.
Livracha v'lo liklala, l'chaim v'lo lemavet, l'sova v'lo lirazon, livracha. L'chaim v'lo lemavet, l'chaim. L'chaim v'lo lemavet, l'chaim. L'chaim livracha. And we continue with our Kedusha prayer on page 476. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Shem shimati shimoto b'shmei maron, Kakatu l'aliyah neviyecha, V'kara zel zel v'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Melech haaretz, Kivodo, Adir anireinu Adonai, Adoneinu Mahadir Shimcha b'chol haaretz, Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu v'hu Yashmienu, v'rachamav le'inei kol chai. Ani Adonai Eloheinu, yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Zion, le'tov.
Please be seated.
You have chosen us in love and favor by making us holy through your mitzvot and drawing us close to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. In your love, Adonai, our God, you have given us Shabbatot of rest, feasts and of gladness and season of joy, this Shabbat day and this festival of Shavuot, season of receiving Torah, to unite and in worship and recall the exodus from Egypt. Hi, I'm Kayla Patterson. The book of Ruth is a perfect example of leadership. Ruth's loyalty to her mother-in-law, Naomi, is a testament of her leadership and teamworking skills. She puts Naomi's needs before her own and works incredibly hard to provide for the both of them. Similarly, in a team environment, it is essential to put the needs of the rest of the team before your own. A good leader understands that everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. I needed to do the same with my cheer team. During the season, I understood that everyone has their different positions in a stunt group that they're used to and comfortable with. However, if someone is absent and another girl would have to fill in, sometimes in a spot that they're not as good at or comfortable with. Instead of getting frustrated or angry, you would just have to teach the girl, you just have to teach them the correct way to do it instead of yelling at them. It is the same way in the Torah. For example, in Leviticus 19, it quotes, "Do not put a stumbling block before the blind. Because of their inability to see, it would be considered a weakness. Therefore, if there were a stumbling block before them, they would fall." A good leader would prevent this from ever happening. A good leader needs to be able to not only work well with the team as if they were one of them, as well as be able to lead the group without coming off as bossy or controlling. They also understand that sometimes the needs of the team may conflict with their own, and they must be willing to put their ego aside and do what is best for the group as a whole. One of the most important aspects of leadership and teamwork is communication. Ruth and Naomi had an open line of communication which allowed them to work together effectively. In a team, everyone must be on the same page, and communication is key to achieving that. A good leader encourages open communication and fosters an environment where everyone feels comfortable enough to express their thoughts and ideas. Finally, a good leader understands that sometimes they must take a step back and let others take the lead. Ruth's willingness to listen to Naomi's advice and follow her lead is an excellent example of this. In a team environment, everyone must have the opportunity to lead and contribute their ideas. A good leader understands this and works to create an environment where everyone can thrive. In conclusion, leadership and teamwork are essential to any successful venture. Ruth's loyalty to Naomi is a great example of these concepts in action. A good leader understands the importance of putting the needs of others before theirs. By following these principles, any team can achieve great things.
On page 480, a prayer for the holiday of Shavuot. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, ya'aleh v'yavo v'yizacher zichronenu, v'zichron kol ha'mecha beit Yisrael lefanecha, l'tova, l'chein, u'lechesed, u'lerachamim, l'chayim, u'leshalom, b'yom chag haShavuot hazeh. Our God and God of our ancestors, be mindful of your people Israel, and recall our merit for good and grace, and in loving kindness and compassion for life and peace on this festival of Shavuot.
Zachrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo l'tova. Amen. Ufokteinu bo livracha. Amen. Usiinu bo l'chaim. Amen.
This day, remember us for well-being.
Amen.
This day, bless us with your nearness.
Amen.
This day, help us to a fuller life.
Amen.
Bestow upon us the blessing of your holy festivals, and may we so celebrate them as to be worthy of your blessing. Our God and God of our ancestors, make us holy with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be the way of our life. May our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. Let your Shabbatot and holy festivals remain our heritage, and let us celebrate them with love and favor and joy, so that all Israel, following your name, may have cause to rejoice. We praise you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat, the whole house of Israel, and the festivals. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat v'Yisrael v'hazmani. One of the Jewish values that I have learned in my years here at MRT would have to be compassion, or chesed, aiding those less fortunate. Leading up to our confirmation, we spent years in Mitzvah Academy helping others, whether it be by working at a food pantry or helping a senior citizen center. We have been taught to always assist those who need help. Even this year, we have been focused on helping others. A few months ago, we had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C., and ask our senators and representatives to help fix social justice issues. We argued for them to help raise the minimum wage for those in poverty and to fight climate change to protect those who will be affected by it. The Jewish value of compassion isn't something new. As shown in the book of Ruth, compassion has been an important part of our culture for centuries. In ancient Israel, farmers were required to leave gleanings in their field for the poor to harvest. The character Boaz also shows compassion. Firstly, he intentionally leaves extra grain for Ruth to glean, and secondly, takes it upon himself to take care of Ruth and Naomi, even though there was a closer relative who could have done it in his place. Overall, my time here at MRT helped to teach me the importance of the Jewish value of Hesed.
We continue on page 484. Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your spirit upon us. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, chamachazir shechinato letzion. There is no limit to the concern one must feel for the suffering of human beings. Indifference to evil is worse than evil itself, and in a free society, some are guilty, but all are responsible. Our words spoken by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel in 1972. This is significant because your actions depend on how God, your community, and your family see you. The things you do define who you are as a person and connect you to your religion. Every action has value and meaning. None are senseless. Back in February, my class and I went on a trip to Washington, D.C. to participate in the Religious Action Center's L'Takein. Our purpose there was to educate ourselves on current social and justice issues so we could educate others. The aim of the trip was to be able to write an informative speech on the topic of our choice and lobby it by speaking to congressmen. This was important because it exposed us to real-life current events that are important to my generation and should be important to everyone. By lobbying, we didn't just talk about the issue, we went and did something about it. In the book of Ruth, Ruth stayed with her mother-in-law after her husband died, even though she did not need to. Naomi told her to go back with her family, but she didn't want to leave her alone. Ruth paid it forward by supporting her mother-in-law and not leaving her. On our trip to Washington, D.C., we paid it forward by discussing topics that many people don't think about. We are helping pave the way for our future world to be a better place. From this trip, I learned that being an advocate for the things you believe in is an important part of our growth in our young Jewish identity. On the trip, we got to meet many new people from around the country, many who shared our beliefs as well. We had an amazing time, and it was a great experience overall. We are very grateful for the synagogue for sending us on the trip and for our teachers for accompanying us. Last weekend, at my cousin's college graduation, the commencement speaker was a well-respected Broadway producer. He spoke about how important it is for us to listen to one another and how most people today don't take the time to hear whom they're speaking with. Going to Washington, D.C. was a great lesson in speaking about our beliefs and truly feeling like we were being heard. Each of us spoke on different topics to our congressman, and we got the experience of hearing what's important to each other, just like Ruth listened to her intuition and stayed with Naomi. All in all, over the last 10 years from being involved at Monmouth Reformed Temple, I have learned that empty words don't mean anything. To make a difference, you must be the difference. Everything we do has meaning, and using that power for good is quite fulfilling. Thank you.
On page 486, Modu manachnu lach, shatahu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu li'olam va'ed, tzorchayenu magen yishenu atahu l'dor v'ador. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. Ba'al kulam yitbarach yitramam shemacha malkenu tamid li'olam va'ed. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimacha ulecha na'eh lahodot.
We continue on page 490 with our prayer, Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Kein V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Amen. Barkeinu Yotzreinu Kulanu Kechad, Ve'or Panecha, Kivor Panecha Netata Lanu, Adonai Eloheinu.
Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Amen.
Torah Chaim, Ve'ahavat Chesed, Ve'ahavat Chesed, U'tzedaka Uvracha Ve'rachamim, Ve'chayim V'Shalom.
Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Amen.
V'tov, v'tov, v'yenecha, levarich, b'cha Yisrael, b'cholit, u'chol shah, b'shlomecha.
Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Amen.
We now take a few moments for silent individual prayer. Please turn to page 494 for the Torah service.
Please rise. Ein kamocha va'elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha b'chodor v'hador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitein Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom El harachamim heitiv v'virtzonecha et Zion Tinei chomot Yerushalayim Ki becha levad batachnu Melech el v'nisa Adon olamim. Together on 496. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kahadosh Shemo Lecha Adonai Hagedula Hagedula Ativeret V'Hanitzach V'Hahud Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz Lecha Adonai Hamalacha V'Vinaseh Lechol erush Al shlosha devarim Al shlosha devarim Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omer Al shlosha devarim Al shlosha devarim Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omer Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim Al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim Ve'ha'erenu b'toratecha v'davek lebeinu b'mitzvotecha ve'yachei levahavenu le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha Mark Ve'lo nivosh le'olam va'ed Ve'lo nivosh le'olam va'ed Ve'ha'erenu b'toratecha v'davek lebeinu b'mitzvotecha ve'yachei levahavenu le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha All the confirmands are being called to the Torah for an aliyah. Everybody come forward for the blessing. Okay. So everyone take your talit, right? Here. Baruch hu et Adonai. No. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamra. Baruch Adonai Hamra le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim.
V'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
V'yadaber Elohim et kol hadvarim ha'ela lemor. Anochi Adonai Elohecha asher hotzeiticha me'eretz Mitzrayim מבית עבדים. לא יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים על פניי. לא תעשה לך פסל בכל תמונה אשר בשמיים ממעל ואשר בארץ מתחת ואשר במים מתחת לארץ.
It's before Poked. It's Asher ba'aretz mitachat, v'asher mitachat la'aretz.
לא תשתחווה להם ולא תעבדים, כי אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אלקנה פוקד עוון אבות על בנים, על שילשים ועל רבעים לשונאי, ועושה חסד לאלפים, לאוהבי ולשומרי מצוותי. לא תישא את שם אדוני אלוהיך לשווא, כי לא ינקה אדוני את אשר יישא את שמו לשווא. זכור את יום השבת לקודשו, ששת ימים תעבוד ועשית כל מלאכתך.
ביום השביעי שבת לאדוני אלוהיך, לא תעשה כל מלאכה, אתה ובנך ובתך, עבדך באמתך ובהמתך בגרך אשר בשעריך. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את היום ואת כל אשר בם וינח ביום השביעי. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו.
כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יאריכון ימיך על האדמה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך. לא תרצח, לא תנאף, לא תגנוב, לא תענה ורעך עד שקר.
Okay, everybody, come on up. Take your time again. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. So the students chanted from the part of the Torah that we call the 10 utterances or the 10 commandments, which we read traditionally on Shavuot, which is when we celebrate receiving the Torah. So if you need like a picture of, here we go. This is us today receiving the Torah. at Mount Sinai, and when we do this, we receive the Torah every single time. And for some of these students, this is the first time they read from the actual Torah, because most of them, or several of them, became B'nai Mitzvah during COVID-19 when we couldn't come into the sanctuary. So holding the Torah and reading from the Torah physically, for some, was a first-time event. So this is a really wonderful moment, and I'm so glad that we have gotten to this point. So let's say the Shehechianu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh. And also, you guys did this amidst very busy schedules, and we're very proud of you. Back up, give her room.
Okay. All right.
I am, but please rise. Vezot HaTorah asher sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Vezot HaTorah asher sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Nai, 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 nai.
Please be seated.
You want me to say something about the whole?
Yeah, go ahead. Say it.
Okay. Hey, you say where? Okay. You may have noticed that a number of the students made reference to the book of Ruth in their speeches, and that's because the book of Ruth is the Haftarah for Shavuot, and it has to do with Ruth and Naomi. Ruth is considered to be the first Jewish convert, and she accepts the Torah as part of her devotion to Naomi and also to Naomi's people. And the students are going to read excerpts from the book of Ruth and chant the Haftarah blessings with them.
Everybody go chant the blessing. Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'mi'im tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hana'amarim be'emet Baruch Atah Adonai habocher b'torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nbi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
It has come to pass in the days when the judges judged, and that there was a famine in the land. A certain man of Bethlehem in Judah took his wife and his 2 sons to live in the land of Moab. His name was Elimelech, and the name of his wife was Naomi. And his 2 sons were named Machlion and Chilion. After they had been living in Moab for some time, Elimelech died, and Naomi was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women named Orpah and Ruth. About 10 years later, Machlion and Chilion both died, and Naomi was left without husband or children.
Bereft of her 2 children as well as of her husband, Naomi set out with her daughters-in-law from the land of Moab to return to Judah, for she had heard that the Lord had remembered his people and had given them food. As they were setting out on their journey to Judah, Naomi said to meet her daughters-in-law, "Go return each of you to the home of your mother. May the Lord be kind to you as you have been kind to the dead and to me. The Lord grant that each of you may find peace and happiness in the house of a new husband." She kissed them goodbye, but they began to weep aloud and said to her, "No, we will go back with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Go back, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Can I still have sons who might become your husbands? Go back, my daughters. Go your own way, for I am too old to have a husband. Even if I should say I have hope, even if I should have a husband tonight and should have sons, would you wait for them until they were grown up? Would you remain single for them?
No, my daughters, I am sorry for you, for the Lord has afflicted me.
They again wept, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. Naomi said, "See, your sister-in-law is going back to her own people and to her own gods. Go along with her." But Ruth answered, "Entreat me not to leave thee and to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest I will go, and where thou lodgest I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. Where thou diest will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me." When Naomi saw that Ruth had made up her mind to go with her, she ceased her urging and her to return. They traveled on until they came to Bethlehem in Judah at the beginning of the barley harvest.
Naomi was related through her husband to Boaz, a very wealthy man of the family of Elimelech. One day, Ruth of the Moabitess said to Naomi, "Let me now go to the fields and glean among the ears of corn after him whose sight I shall find favor." "Go, my daughter," said Naomi to her. She went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers, and it was her good fortune to glean in that part of the field which belonged to Boaz. Just then Boaz returned to Bethlehem. He greeted the reapers and said to his servant who charged of them, Whose maiden is this?" The servant replied, "This is the Moabite maiden who came back with Naomi from the land of Moab." And she said, "Let me glean, I beg, and gather sheaves after reapers." So she came and continued from the morning until now, and she has not rested a moment in the field.
Then Boaz said to Ruth, "Listen, my daughter, do not glean in any other field, nor leave this place, but stay here with my maidens. I have told the young men not to trouble you. When you are thirsty, go to the jars and drink of that which the young men have drawn." Ruth bowed low and said to him, "Why are you so kind to me, to take interest in one who comes from another land?" Boaz replied, "I have heard what you have done for your mother-in-law. May the Lord repay you for what you have done, and may you be fully rewarded by the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge."
She said, "I trust I may please you, my lord, for you have comforted me and spoken kindly to your servant, although I am not really equal to one of your own servants." At noonday, Boaz said to her, "Come here and eat the food, and dip your piece of bread into the sour wine." She sat beside the reapers, and she ate until she had enough and had some left. When she rose to glean, Boaz gave this order to his young men: "Let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not disturb her." So she gleaned in the field until evening. Then she beat out that which she had gleaned, and it was about a bushel of barley. She took it up and went to the city, where she showed her mother-in-law what she had gleaned. She also gave Naomi what she had left from her meal after she was satisfied. Naomi said to Ruth, "Where did you glean today, and where did you work?" Ruth told her where she had worked and said, "The name of the man whom I worked today is Boaz." Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, "The man is a near relative of ours." And Ruth, the Moabitess, said, "Yes, he said to me, 'You must keep near my young men until they have completed all my harvest.'" Naomi said to Ruth, "It is best, my daughter, that you should go out into his maidens, and no one should find you in another field." So Ruth gleaned with the maidens of Boaz until the end of the barley and wheat harvest, and she lived with her mother-in-law.
And Naomi said to Ruth, "My daughter, shall I not try to find a home for you where you will be happy and contented? Is not Boaz a relative of ours? This very night he is going to winnow barley on the threshing floor. So you prepare yourself and put on your best clothes and go down to the threshing floor. But do not make yourself known to Boaz until he is through eating and drinking. Then, when he lies down, you mark the place where he lies." Ruth said to her, "I will do as you say." She went to the threshing floor and did just as her mother-in-law told her. When Boaz was finished eating and drinking and was in a happy mood, he went to lie down at the end of a heap of grain. Then Ruth came to him softly, and Boaz said, "Who are you?" She answered, "I am Ruth, your servant. Take me in marriage, for you are a near relative." Boaz replied, "May you be blessed by the Lord, my daughter. Have no fear, I will do for you all that you ask, for all my townsmen know that you are a good woman. Now it is true that I am a near relative, yet there is one nearer than I. If he will marry you, let him do so. But if he, being your nearest relative, will not marry you, then as surely as the Lord lives, I will do so." When Ruth came to her mother-in-law, Naomi said, "Is it you, my daughter?" Ruth told Naomi all that the man had done for her. She said, he gave me these 6 measures of barley, for he said, do not go to your mother-in-law empty-handed. Naomi said, wait quietly, my daughter, until you know how this will turn out, for Boaz will not rest until he settles it all today.
Meanwhile, Boaz went to the city gate and sat down. The near relative of whom Boaz had spoken came along. Boaz called him, "Hello, sir, turn aside and sit down here." He turned aside and sat down. And Boaz said to him, "Naomi, who has come back from the country of Moab, is offering for sale a piece of land which belonged to our relative Elimelech. And I thought that I would lay the matter before you and ask you to redeem it in the presence of these elders who sit here. If you will redeem it and so keep it in the family, do so. But if not, then tell me, that I may know, for no one but you has the right to redeem it, and I am next to you." He said, "I will redeem it." Then Boaz said, "On the day that you redeem the field from Naomi, you must also marry Ruth, the Moabitess, the widow of Mahlon, that a son may be born to bear his name and to receive this field."
The near relative said, "I cannot redeem it for myself for fear that I should lose what already belongs to me. You may take my right of redeeming it as a relative, for I cannot do so." Now in those days this was the custom in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning exchanging, to make a valid agreement between the 2 men. The one drew off his shoe and gave it to the other. So the near relative said to Boaz, "Buy it for yourself," and he drew off his shoe. Then Boaz said to the elders and to the people present, "You are my witnesses at this time that I have bought all that was Elimelech's and all that was Helion's and Machlon's from Naomi. Moreover, I have secured Ruth and the Moabitess, the widow of Machlon, to be my wife, so that she may have a son who will receive this land and carry on Machlon's name. The name of the dead be not cut off from among the people. You are witnesses this day." Then the elders and the people who were at the city gate said, "We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your house like Rachel and Leah, the 2 who built up the house of Israel, and make you famous in Bethlehem. May your house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah, through the children which the Lord shall give you by this young woman." Boaz married Ruth, and in time the Lord gave her a son. And the woman said to Naomi, "Blessed the Lord, who has not left you at this time without a near relative, and his name be famous in Israel. This child will bring back your strength and take care of you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law who loves you, who is worth more to you than 7 sons, has a son."
Naomi took the child in her arms, and she became its nurse. The women of the neighborhood also said, "Naomi has a son." They named him Obed, and he became the father of Jesse, who was the father of David. Because the great King David was descended from Ruth and Boaz, the story of his ancestry is given here. Perez was the father of Hezron. Hezron was the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Amminadab. Amminadab was the father of Nahshon. Nahshon was the father of Salmon. Salmon was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Jesse. Obed was the father of Jesse. And Jesse was the father of David.
Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, tzor kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, ha'el hane'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, hamdaber u'mkayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nevi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'limnuchat, lekavod ultifaret, al hakol, Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, umevarim otach, yitbarach shimcha, b'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha'shabbat.
Amen. Please rise.
It's Chayim he Mark Nakazikimba Betar Mechera Meushar Derachecha Darchena
May all your learning lead to wisdom.
May all your labors lead to success.
May all your knowledge lead you to kindness.
May the path before you lead to blessings.
May your studies never cease.
May all your prayers be answered.
Amen.
Amen.
Rabbi Bergson and I are going to share some private words with the students, and then we will bless them.
It has been a joy to get to know you. I wish I had had more time with you, and I hope you continue to be around us. Thank you. Carly, you were nervous about this whole thing, and you've done it so beautifully. I'm very proud of you, and I hope I get to see you more around. There's lots of opportunities. You still got 2 years at high school. It's gonna be okay. You're so nervous. It's like you're scared to this way. Everything you've done, and it's a pleasure to be in this. Just keep seeing you out. Okay, we'll bless them. Go back to my side of the bed.
All right, fine.
Okay.
Okay, you sing, I talk?
Yeah. Okay, or you can sing. No, you do. Okay. Okay.
Aw.
Here you go.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom, shalom.
May God's face be lifted up unto you, and may God grant you peace.
Amen, amen.
Oh, she gets to close the
One under the sea.
C is closed, O is open.
It's
I,
working.
I never get it either.
Please be seated.
I guess now that it is over, I can share something with you, all of you guys. Before our Letakein trip to Washington, D.C., whenever I would let people know that I was going to spend a long weekend with 5 teenagers, I would get these long looks of pity and a response that indicated that it would not be a pleasant weekend at all. Nothing could be further from the truth. Our weekend in Washington, called Letakein, was the perfect transition point for the 10th grade. We say that confirmation in 10th grade is the culmination of formal religious school studies, though it is not the end of Jewish learning and study. Following confirmation, it is up to you, sorry my back is to you guys, but I am talking to you, to put everything that you've learned into practice and infuse everything that you do with what you've learned. It is your responsibility to assume a role in Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. And I can see that happening already. Lee, you just shared how you thought it was important to speak up and stand up for what you believe in. Quote, to make a difference, you have to be the difference. Silver, you just shared how you thought it was important to, Silver, you care strongly about environmental issues. You shared, quote, "In order to help the world, we need to support each other and work in unison. It is up to us." Kayla, when we talked, you shared with us all the activities in which you're involved and the leadership roles you take on. But you also understand that a true leader's success is measured by the team's success. You wrote that a leader must be willing to put their ego aside and do what is best for the group as a whole. Mark, at Letterkenny in Washington, you learned about the different ways to help people, whether advocating for economic justice or the environment. Caring for others is your Jewish value. And Carly, you were inspiring when you shared your own personal experience, that your own personal experience motivates you to help others, and you're planning to do that as a future nurse. As you start your new journeys today, I would advise that you keep Rabbi Tarfon's words in mind. Quote, "You are not obligated to finish the work of perfecting the world today, but neither are you permitted to do nothing towards that goal." There might be times when repairing the environment or helping others or becoming a nurse is not giving you any visible success, and it's really, really difficult. Our tradition says that it is okay because you are on the right path. And as long as you start, you or someone else will finish. And always remember Hillel's words, do not remove yourself from the community. Don't be blind to the needs of others. One of the Confirmands a few years ago summed it up beautifully, and I quote again, "As long as I can remember, my entire Jewish faith centered around one building, one congregation, and one place. But I learned an important lesson. Wherever I am a Jew. My faith lies in myself, and I am confident that because of this congregation and these people, my faith is solid. Our memories from religious school will eventually fade, but I know we will carry with us the lessons that we've been taught as we embark on the journey of the rest of our lives. This is not the end of our Jewish education." Congratulations on completing this part of Jewish learning and exploration, and welcome to the next stage of your Jewish journey and the writing of your own Jewish story. We have laid the groundwork here. Now it is up to you to continue. May you experience many new beginnings, building on the foundations you have already developed. May you develop many new relationships while still embracing our thousands-year-old Jewish tradition. And may you always welcome challenges as opportunities for further Jewish learning and growth. And may you always say that this people is your people and that this God is your God. Oh, and I would say to those who pitied me for having to spend a weekend with our teenagers, it was quite the opposite. It was my privilege and honor to have spent time with you and see you formulate your own individual paths towards repairing the world. Thank you. Mazel tov again. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Amy Sukanik, the chair of the Religious Education Committee here at MRT.
So Mazel tov. You guys did great. My name's Amy Sukanik. I am chair of the Religious Ed Committee and the representative of MRT's board here today. And I don't have any papers because I didn't write anything, and mine's going to be really quick. So I just want to say that this is an amazing group. While I don't know them all very well, What I do know about them is amazing. They have done a great job throughout this year. I've heard your speeches. And the thing that I really will take away from you all is that you talked about community, you talked about giving back, you talked about taking action. And the group is going to, for their confirmation gift back to MRT, they're actually putting their words into action. They have decided to volunteer within our community here at MRT to help do things to beautify our synagogue, to clean up in our cemetery, to help prepare the school to get the kids so that the school is ready for the kids to come back in the fall. So while other classes have done things like raised money in order to give something to the temple, this group is donating their time, and I think that's priceless. So thank you.
Stay right where you are. Amy and I will not call you up one by one to give you your confirmation certificates and your gifts from the temple. So Amy, if you can handle the gifts, I will do the certificates. And if you want to come right by me. Lee Batar, please come up. And Mazel Tov on being confirmed today. Silver Fox, Mazel Tov on being confirmed today. You know what, no hug. Forget the handshake. Kayla Patterson, Mazel Tov on being confirmed today. Here you. Mark Rawson, Mazel Tov on being confirmed. Here you go. And Carly Sokol, Mazel Tov on being confirmed today. Wow. As I look at these young people, I have no doubt that our future is bright. Amen.
I want to begin by thanking people specifically. I first want to thank Magda for being the linchpin during a time of transition to help this class flourish and experience every single thing that we want all our confirmands to experience. And yes, all of us work together, but you worked very hard to make it work. And I know every parent here and I know every child here is very grateful to you. I also want to commend Amy Sukanik for enlarging her, the Religious Ed Committee to such a strong and important part of our synagogue construct. What they've done this year is just incredible, and it's been really appreciated. So I'm one of your teachers, and I'm one of many. And this group has been used to pivoting because of the pandemic, and in this class, you pivoted again. You had several teachers. You had Rabbi Gutterman, you had Rabbi Bergson, you had myself, you had Magda, you had a lot of teachers. And I'm very grateful to you that you were all so gracious and welcoming to us as you had to reconfigure yourselves over and over as to what you were doing. Today, watching you lead the service and rehearsing with you and working with you on your Torah portions and talking to you about your speeches and then hearing your speeches over the past couple of weeks has affirmed what I so strongly believe, that your Jewish literacy has made it so you can walk in and lead the service. And that's what we've all worked so hard for you to do. And so, you know, you came through religious school, you became B'nai Mitzvah, everyone here went on to confirmation. It was discretionary, it's a choice you made. I hope that, I know sometimes it might have been hard to fulfill that choice, but I hope today is an affirmation of the wisdom in your choice to stay on with confirmation. I hope that you will talk to all the other kids in religious school and tell them that it's worth it to do this. It has meaning, and it's not only a lot of fun, but it's a really good use of your time. And I also hope that you guys stay active next year. I know you're going to volunteer, but we love to have your help in religious school as madrichim, and Magda is waiting to... Counting on, and so am I. We are counting on your help because we think that you are the best and most effective, besides our teachers, you are the most best and effective tool we have to teach Judaism, because the kids really look up to you. And then I also want to say that I have loved being part of your Jewish journey, and nothing will make me happier than if you guys go to college and you email me or you call me and you tell me that you went to Hillel, it was nice, you met nice people, and you're doing, in your own way, Jewish things. That's what we hope will be your next step. And I have to say that will truly be discretionary, because your parents have been incredibly supportive in getting you to this point. And really at that point, it's very much up to you. But if this incentivizes you, I want to remind you, Rabbi Bergson was a Hillel rabbi for many, many years. And we all know how cool she is. So that's what you get, when you go to Hillel in college, and then maybe go on birthright to Israel. Okay? So all that will happen. So I've chosen a song for you about being children and where we hope your minds are today.
Childhood was for fantasies, for nursery rhymes and toys. The world was much too busy to understand small girls and boys. As I grew up, I came to learn that life was not a game, that heroes were just people that we call another name. And the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions, and our hope shall rise up to the sky. We must live for today, we must build for tomorrow. Give us strength, give us time, give us life. Now I'm grown, the years have passed, I've come to understand their choices to be made, and my life's at my command. I cannot have a future till I embrace the past. I promise to pursue the challenge, time is going fast. And the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions, and our hope shall rise up to the sky. We must live for today, we must build for tomorrow. Give us time, give us strength, give us life. Today's the day I take my stand, the future's mine to hold. Commitments that I make today are dreams from days of old. I have to make the way for generations come and go. I'll have to teach them what I've learned, so they will come to know that the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions, and our hope shall rise up to the sky. We must live for today, we must build for tomorrow. Give us time, give us strength, give us life. Give us time, give us strength, give us life. Give us life.
Mazel tov. You all did great. happiest day of the year is 2 days, the day after Yom Kippur and the day after confirmation. A big milestone.
Please rise and turn to page for Elenu, page 586.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hachol, latei gedula liotzer breshit, shehunot hashamayim biyotzei haaretz, u'mashav yekaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shinat uzo b'gomhei meromim, u'Eloheinu einod, anachnu korim, u'mishnachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch, V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, L'melech al kol haaretz, V'yom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad.
You may be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. If anyone is commemorating a yahrzeit, the anniversary of a death at this time, you may call out the name now. Turn to page 598 for Kaddish. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, ba'amad divarach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayichon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. B'gala u'v'zman kari v'yimeru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mavorach la'alam u'la'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei d'kudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata, damiran mi'alma v'yimeru Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen.
Closing speech, Mark.
So our class is going to lead us.
No, Mark's closing speech.
Oh, Mark's, I see. Sorry. Mark is going to lead us in some closing words.
So that brings our confirmation to a close. It feels like so much has led up to this, but it still feels odd. Suddenly we're confirmed, yet it doesn't feel as though we have suddenly changed. And so that brings our confirmation to a close. It feels like so much has led up to this, but it feels odd. Suddenly we're confirmed, yet it doesn't feel as though we have changed. That's because the service just signals the end of our journey into a more mature self. We aren't suddenly adults, and we aren't suddenly more responsible. We've been growing up throughout the course of our time here at MRT. Who we were when we first came to prepare for a bar bat mitzvah is different from who we are now. We've been changing for the better because of our time here. And as mentioned in our speeches, our values not only as a Jew but as a person have been nourished while we've been here. It feels cliche, but I guess the journey had the biggest impact. Our days here, despite our reluctance to come, have been a part of our lives for so long that we'll feel odd not coming here as students. Yet time moves forward, and as our time here comes to an end, a new group of kids are starting their own journey.
Okay, now everybody, come on up for David Melech. Leave your prayer books down. The closing song today is David Melech Yisrael, and I decided there's a connection. Okay, so you can sit down. Ruth was the great-great-great-grandmother to King David of Israel, and during Shavuot, we read from the book of Ruth. So the class chose this song and absolutely connected to Shavuot. So we're going to sing it together. We'll get the hand movements ready. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. We go faster. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai Chai V'Kayam. Okay, this class did something special and unique. They're all ready for being grown up.
That better be grape juice.
It is Kadem grape juice, and they each have their own confirmation Kiddush cup that their class put together as a gift. So you lead us in the prayer over the grape juice. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. I just poured it this morning, so it's fairly fresh. Okay, and then right in front of you, Carly. There you go. No, you're going to have to tear it. I know the moil was off today. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom. Everybody grab a piece, and we'll see you inside for some beautiful refreshments prepared for by the parents, which we thank you. Thank you, everybody.